The NFL is gearing up for formative 2025-2025 season with several major rule changes designed to boost excitement and fairness on the field. One of the most talked about changes involves overtime. Beginning in 2025, regular season games will adopt a new overtime format that guarantees both teams a possession, mirroring the system introduced in the postseason last year. Although the initial proposal called for a 15-minute overtime, it was trimmed down to 10 minutes for the regular season. Under the new rules, if both teams finish their possession and the score remains tied, the game ends in a tie, unlike in the playoffs where the next score wins the game. This change aims to provide a more equitable chance for both sides, a shift that was hotly debated after the Chiefs' overtime win over the Bills in 2022. Alongside overtime, the league is expanding replay assist. Now, certain penalties, such as hits on a defenseless player, face mask grabbing, horse collar tackles, tripping, and roughing the kicker, will be reviewable if a flag is thrown on the play. Coaches will have the opportunity to challenge if they believe the penalty flag was unwarranted, but if no flag is thrown, the play cannot be reviewed. This adjustment is expected to improve consistency and fairness in penalty calls. Other significant updates include the introduction of Sony's Hawkeye cameras to measure first downs. This new technology will replace manual chain gang measurements on crucial plays, speeding up the process by about 40 seconds while maintaining accuracy with 6 8K cameras tracking the ball's position. Additionally, touchbacks on kickoffs will now result in the ball being placed at the 35-yard line rather than the 30-yard line. The NFL hopes this change will encourage more teams to return kickoffs, raising return rates from 33% in 2024 to a projected 60 to 70%, and add a fresh layer of excitement to special teams play. Other proposals, such as the controversial Tush push ban, remain hotly contested and have been tabled for now, while the Detroit Lions' efforts to eliminate automatic first downs on defensive holding and illegal contact penalties, as well as their wildcard seeding proposal, did not pass. However, one proposal did win support: the Pittsburgh Steelers' free agent rule, which now allows teams to speak directly to free agents and schedule travel during negotiating windows on a trial basis. These rule changes reflect the NFL's ongoing efforts to enhance gameplay, player safety, and competitive balance, setting the stage for an even more electrifying season in 2025.
What's up, NFL rule fanatics and members of the Next Season Breakdown crew? Welcome back to the channel for a comprehensive look at some significant changes coming to the National Football League in the 2025 season. The NFL annual owners' meetings have just concluded, and a flurry of rule changes have been approved that will impact everything from overtime to replay to kickoffs. We're going to break down all the key changes you need to know about, including the new overtime format, the expanded use of replay, the introduction of cutting-edge technology, and the latest on the highly debated Tush push. Get ready for a deep dive into the NFL rulebook of tomorrow. The NFL has once again decided to tweak its overtime format, this time bringing a familiar change to the regular season. As the video you sent over reports, the league has approved a rule change that will see both teams receive a possession in overtime during regular season games. Starting in 2025, this is the same overtime format that the NFL implemented for postseason games back in 2024. So, if you watched the playoffs last year, you already have a good understanding of how regular season overtime will now work. The initial proposal suggested a 15-minute overtime period for regular season games, but it was ultimately amended down to 10 minutes. This change comes after years of debate and discussion surrounding the fairness of the previous overtime rules, where the team that won the coin toss and scored a touchdown on the opening possession could end the game without the other team getting a chance to respond. The catalyst for much of this discussion was the thrilling 2022 playoff game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. After a back-and-forth battle that ended in a tie at the end of regulation, the Chiefs won the overtime coin toss and scored a touchdown on their first possession, effectively ending the Bills' season without them even touching the ball in the extra period. This outcome sparked widespread debate about the fairness of the overtime rules. Months later, the NFL responded by altering its overtime policy for the postseason. guaranteeing both teams an opportunity to possess the ball. Now, that same policy will be extended to regular season games in 2025. Under this new format, if the score remains tied after both teams have had a possession in overtime, the next team to score any points will win the game. To illustrate how this would have changed past outcomes, let's revisit that Bills-Chiefs game. Under the new policy, after the Chiefs scored a touchdown in overtime, the Bills would have had the opportunity to get the ball back. If the Bills then scored a touchdown of their own to tie the game at 42-42, the game would have continued under sudden death rules, with the next team to score any points winning. However, there's one crucial difference between the regular season and postseason overtime rules. In the regular season, if both teams are still tied after the full 10 minutes of overtime have elapsed, the game will end in a tie. Playoff games, for obvious reasons, cannot end in a tie, so the sudden death format will continue until a winner is determined in the postseason. Interestingly, the video also notes that the most controversial proposal on the docket for Tuesday's meeting, the proposal to potentially ban the Tush push play, was tabled by the league. After significant discussion among NFL owners, they decided to delay a vote on this contentious issue. This means that for the 2025 season, the Tush push will remain a legal play in the NFL. At least for now, the debate surrounding its safety and competitive balance will likely continue, and we may see this issue revisited at future league meetings. Moving on to another significant rule change for the 2025 season. The NFL has expanded the use of replay assist to include several new types of penalties. According to Pro Football Talk, the penalties that will now be subject to replay review include hits on a defenseless player, grabbing the face mask, performing a horse collar tackle, tripping, and running into or roughing the kicker. However, there's a specific condition attached to this expansion of replay review. These penalties can only be reviewed if the officials on the field have already thrown a flag on the play. If a coach believes that a penalty flag was incorrectly thrown, they will now have the opportunity to challenge the call and potentially have the penalty overturned through replay. Conversely, if no penalty flag is thrown by the officials on a play, coaches will not be eligible to challenge for a potential missed penalty. This means that if an official misses a call, coaches won't be able to use replay to retroactively get a penalty called. In another move aimed at improving the accuracy and efficiency of officiating, the NFL has announced that it will be introducing Sony's Hawkeye cameras to measure first downs in 2025. These advanced cameras will effectively replace the traditional on-field chain gang measurements on crucial plays where the spot of the ball is in question. The league will utilize 6 high-resolution 8K cameras strategically positioned around the field to precisely track the ball's location. The NFL estimates that this new Hawkeye system will take approximately 30 seconds to complete a measurement, which is expected to save around 40 seconds compared to the sometimes lengthy process of manual chain gang measurements. While the Hawkeye system will be the primary method for determining first downs on close plays, the traditional chain gang isn't going away entirely and will continue to be used in a secondary capacity. The NFL is also making a change to kickoff rules in an effort to make the kick return a more exciting and prevalent part of the game. A modified kickoff rule will move touchbacks to the 35-yard line in 2025. Previously, a touchback on a kickoff resulted in the ball being placed at the 30-yard line. The league hopes that this 5-yard difference will incentivize teams to return more kickoffs. In 2024, teams returned kickoffs at a rate of roughly 33%. Under the new policy, the NFL anticipates that this number will jump significantly, potentially to between 60 and 70%. According to ESPN's Kevin Seifert, while there were discussions about potentially changing the onside kick policy, no changes were made in that area during this meeting. However, the league may consider adjustments to the onside kick rule at a later date. Several other rule change proposals were also discussed and voted on at the owners' meetings. A proposal put forth by the Detroit Lions to eliminate automatic first downs on defensive holding and illegal contact penalties failed to pass. Under the current rules, which will remain in effect for 2025, these penalties will continue to result in a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the offense. Another proposal from the Detroit Lions, this one aimed at altering playoff seeding, was also tabled by the owners. The Lions' proposal suggested that wild card teams with better regular season records than teams that won their division should be seeded higher in the postseason. This change would have potentially benefited the Lions' division rivals, the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers, in the 2024 playoffs, as they both had better records than some division winners but were seeded lower. Finally, a proposal from the Pittsburgh Steelers that would allow teams to speak directly to free agents during negotiating windows was approved. Under the previous policy, teams were only permitted to communicate with a player's agent during these periods and were not allowed to schedule travel for the players themselves. The new policy, which will be adopted on a one-year trial basis and is subject to review after the 2025 season, will now allow teams to have direct conversations with free agents and arrange travel for them as part of the negotiation process. So, there you have it, a comprehensive breakdown of the key rule changes coming to the NFL in 2025. From a new overtime format to expanded replay and changes to kickoffs, the league is clearly looking to evolve and enhance the game for both players and fans. The tabling of the Tush push ban will undoubtedly continue to be a topic of discussion. But for now, it remains a part of the NFL landscape. What are your thoughts on these new rule changes? Are you excited about the new overtime format? Do you think the expanded replay will improve officiating? And what do you make of the other changes? Share your opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video. Subscribe for more in-depth NFL news and analysis. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the action in the upcoming 2025 season. We'll catch you in the next one.